Welcome back and welcome to another book review video. Today we are going to be finding out if Again But Better was worth the wait, because let's face it, it's been a while that I've been waiting to read it. Let's find out. So welcome if you are new here. Welcome. We are pleased to have you. Make sure you subscribe so that my next bookish video lands in your subscription feed. I have a lot of content coming up because I have been reading a lot lately, and I finally had the time to get round to reading Again But Better by Christine Riccio. And in case you are unaware, Christine is a massive booktuber here on BookTube, one of the originals, and so this book has been on my radar for a long time, but I was waiting for my hold to come in on the audiobook from my library. It's obviously been a very popular book, so that took a little while. So let me read you the synopsis of this one so you know what you are getting yourselves in for. Shane has been doing college all wrong. Pre-med, stellar grades and happy parents. Sounds ideal, but Shane's made zero friends, goes home every weekend, and romance? What's that? Her life has been dorm, dining hall, class, repeat. Time's ticking and she needs a change. There's nothing like moving to a new country to really mix things up. Shane signs up for a semester abroad in London. She's going to right all her college mistakes, make friends, pursue boys, and find adventure. Easier said than done. She's soon faced with the complicated realities of living outside her bubble, and when self-doubt sneaks in, her life starts to fall apart. Shane comes to find that with the right amount of courage and determination, one can conquer anything. Throw in some fate and a touch of magic, and the possibilities are endless. So many of the reviews for this one say that this is definitely a book of two halves, and I would really agree. I kind of was listening away, and then suddenly at our kind of halfway point, things take a turn for the change, and this book kind of turns into something else, and that's where our touch of magic is mentioned. And now I am not a massive fan of books with magic or kind of fantastical elements to them, but this was just the right level of magic that I could be interested in this, and that I could be like, yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board with that. I actually just read another book called Back to Reality that has a very similar storyline to this one, a similar level of magic. So it seems to be that March is the month for books with a little bit of magic in. This one reminded me an awful lot as well of 13 Going on 30. Not because, you know, we go back to when our main character was 13, but just it's got those same kind of vibes. And the entire time I was listening to the book, I was thinking, I must watch 13 Going on 30 once I finish this one. One of the things that really connected for me with the book was the fact that Shane goes to London and is an American in England, the UK, Europe for the first time, and the differences that she notices. And it really connected with me because it's very subtle little things, like she's in a supermarket and she's like, the pasta's all in bags. What's up with that? We have pasta in boxes. And I'm sure when the first time I went shopping for pasta in the supermarket here, I went, the pasta's in boxes. Why is it in such small boxes? What's going on? You know, you kind of almost don't look at it because you're so used to seeing the bags. You don't think, you go straight to the, you know, the big stuff in the bulk bags down the bottom of the pasta section. Not that there's anything in the pasta section right now in the supermarkets, but yeah, and you kind of don't clock that the boxes are actually the kind of normal size pasta. So yeah, I really connected with that. And some of the things where you kind of slip up and don't remember what to call things, that was interesting. It helped Shane that she had some American roommates in her accommodation in London, so they could talk about, like, you know, elevators and call it an apartment rather than it being a lift and a flat. But yeah, I enjoyed discovering London through Shane's eyes, in the way of, I've been living in America my whole life and now I'm seeing what it's like to live in London, and you know, I've had the opposite experience. I was living in the UK my whole life and now I'm experiencing what it's like to live in America. So yeah, I really connected with that. The other thing I really liked about this book, and this is like a tiny thing, but at the beginning of the book we have an author's note, and I only realised this year. You know, I've been a reader for a long time. I've been talking about books on the internet for more than 7 years now, and I only realised I love a book with an author's note. The author's note, whether it's at the beginning or the end of the book, just takes the book to another level for me. And so the fact that Christine wrote this author's note and I was like, yeah, I can connect to that. I can relate to what you're saying here and kind of why you've made some of the choices you have in the book. And she kind of got me on board just through the author's note there. And I found the same thing with The Gravity of Us and the author's note in that. And My One True North, there's an author's note in that. So some of my favourite books that I've read this year have had author's notes. Who knew that that could just, you know, elevate a book for me? But yeah, 13 going on 30 vibes. I like the whole American discovering London and UK ways for the first time. Really like that. The magical element was just the right amount for me. I've seen a few people talking in their reviews about the writing and some of the kind of sentence structure and the writing choices in this book. I think that if you have watched Christine's booktube videos, or you've heard her speak at panels, or you know, met her in person, she writes very much in the way that she speaks, and the main character in this book is obviously very much kind of based on her. And so if you are not aware of her on the internet or the way she talks about books and movies and life, sort of anywhere online or in real life, then I think you might find the writing structure slightly different. But I think if you have spent a lot of time watching her videos or have seen her talk on panels and things like that at book festivals and VidCon stuff, then you can kind of tune yourself into the way that she speaks, because she very much writes the way that she speaks. So that could be a polarizing thing for people. But because I've kind of watched her videos for a long time, I just tuned myself into that way of talking, and I think that it helped that I was doing the audio as well. Whilst the audio isn't read by her, it's narrated by somebody else. The author's note is read by her and the acknowledgements are read by her, but the book is read by a narrator. But you can kind of put yourself in that I'm listening to Christine talk now zone, and I think that definitely helps. So I just really enjoyed this one. It was very much escapism for me, whilst also being something that I could relate to. It was out of my comfort zone enough with the magic that it wasn't just another book about, oh, somebody having kind of a semester abroad and somebody making some college level mistakes. I also really love the fact that this one is set in those college years, because you get so much high school stuff and so much like early 30s stuff, and we kind of miss that section in the middle, which I think is being addressed by a lot more people these days. But I like the age that was addressed in this book. And without any spoilers, I did like the little touch of romance in here as well. Just no spoilers there. Not going to go into that in any way, but I did like it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Again But Better. Very much a hit for me, and I am kind of pleased that I waited to read it. You know, you can see that I bought it the day it came out in Barnes & Noble. I was excited to get it, but it's been sat on my shelf for a little while. When did it come out? 2019. There we go. That makes me feel a bit better that it's not been more than a year. But yeah, I'm glad that I waited and didn't read it when there was a lot of hype around it, and had a chance to kind of sit with it for a bit. And also, yeah, it's always interesting to see what other people are saying about it. And that writing style thing is definitely something that if you're not a fan of Christine's booktube channel, then you might find the writing style, because it's the way she talks, slightly different from what you're used to. But yeah, definitely a hit for me. Let me know in the comments. I would be really interested to know what level of magic you like in your books, because I have very specific requirements when it comes to what's real and what isn't in my reading, which you'll have noticed from the books that I talk about here on this channel. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. As I said, make sure you're subscribed so that my next bookish video lands in your subscription feed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.